So if you remember, I made 2 videos following the Chicago Great Western through Red Wing, and we ended up here at this trestle. And if I pan around, I showed you where the railroad went down in that direction. So this is now what's known as the Goodhue Pioneer State Trail. So I could walk this whole ways down the road here. It's a couple of miles down this path, but it's blacktop, and there's lots of nice scenery if you want to take a bike ride or a walk, but there's not much railroad history to be seen. So I'm going to hop in my truck and we're going to take a ride and catch up with it in another place. So from this point, I got to go out and do a little walking, but I wanted to show you this if you haven't seen the video of it. My wife made this for me. I don't carry phones with me. If I go out somewhere, I don't want to be bothered by anyone. And you know what? I don't do texts. So if you don't email me or message me through Facebook, I won't see it because I don't even read my phone texts. And because of all my health issues, she wants me to carry my phone. So she made this. I got my phone in this side. I got a couple of granola bars in this side and my water bottle. So I am all ready to go. So here's where we're at. Hay Creek Recreation Area. There's a lot of horses. They bring trailers down this road of horses, and there's a lot of horse trails back here. No horses allowed on the pavement. This is your old railroad bed right here. And all the way to Red Wing. There's one bridge over Hay Creek, but it's a modern bridge that was built just for the trail, and there's no remnants of railroads there. But we're going to walk down this trail quite a ways for me, so I want to see where the trail split just before it gets to Hay Creek from the original railroad. Anyway, this is the area I was trying to get to. All right, because the trail here is winding around to the right. And that is not the railroad. The railroad continued straight on here. And it says private road. No trespassing, but this was not a road. This is railroad bed right here. Now, I got to abide by the sign. I'm not going to go walking in there. But going down this way. That's railroad bed. So there's another spot off of the Pioneer Trail, that road we were on. And I'll go back, I'll walk back to my truck and we'll take a look at it from the street. Remember where I showed you where the trail left the railroad? That was right back there. Right back there where you see that bend. That's where that was. And the railroad goes to the right at that point. And this trail is an extension that has nothing to do with the railroad. So I'm a little further down. I want you to notice that right back there. That's railroad bed. And then it looks like it was cut out, maybe a driveway for something. And then it picks up on the other side and goes out that way. Okay, we're in Hay Creek now. And when I get out, I'll show you the depot. I'll put up a couple of maps so you can see how I located it and everything. Before I do that, though, I wanted to show you this. This is Ghost Towns. Anybody ever read this? Roy W. Mayer. Roy W. Mayer. And listen, there's lots of good pictures, lots of good old history stories. These are of the ghost towns of Goodhue County. And whenever I go out with this, I like to see if I can find something. And Hay Creek is a ghost town. it doesn't no longer have a post office. If it doesn't have a post office, it's probably in this book and it's a ghost town. So coming back from the street, there's your railroad bed. And right in this general area, right in here is where I think the depot was. And you can see how high up that rail bed is. So in the photo, you're not going to see the creek on the other side of the tracks. Not the way they took the photo, but the creek is there. That's our rail bed right there. I'll turn around. There's our creek. Hay Creek. Hay Creek Trail, the road. There's the bridge for Hay Creek. And right out that way, that's our rail bed heading out towards Claybank from here. So here's our railroad tracks. And they're going to wind to the left as they go out. So right next to the tracks, right here, is where that depot was. And if we took away this over 100 years of growth, you would see the hill in the background that's in that photo. And you would see a house that's just to the right of the tracks, the G.F. Meyer house. And out of the picture would have been an old mill. That would have been a little bit further back from the house in that photo. So this is about where this photo was taken. So we're on our way down 320th Street, and there is, right where it's supposed to be, that's all railroad bed going down that way. Yep. I saw this path just off of the road, and I can see how much it's built up on both sides. And yeah, it's right where the map says it should be. It goes down that way. That's the way I was coming from. Coming from Hay Creek. I'm connecting dots. So yeah, this is the railroad bed. And you know, like my wife says, turn around slow so you don't make people dizzy. It would have went out that way. And at one time it would have crossed that road. That road probably wasn't there back then. So I'll walk down. We'll see what we can find. So what do you think of my new railroad hunter's hat? My wife made it for me. Yeah. It's modeled off of a Scottish hat, 1850s. It's a nice hat, keeps me warm. So I'm a little bit further down. You can see the road. This road, you know, has been built up and redone, and that would have been the railroad down in there. And we're going to go over, right over there to see, right there. This is where the railroad would have been crossing. All right, so that's where we were coming from. Right there. I'll turn around again. There's my wife. Okay, right here. That's railroad bed right there, going down this way. Right there. Okay, there's another angle. that same railroad bed. You can see it now, pretty dominant. It's going down this way. And then right down over here, somebody chopped it out to put in a driveway at one time. And then it continues down this way, makes a bend, series. Okay, there's that bed back in there. And that, you know, that is not a railroad bridge. But it is on the railroad bed, so I don't know the story about that bridge. I was just asking a fisherman how I could get back to it. He said I could walk along the creek on a real skinny path. He says all this land here is all privately owned. He wasn't sure who owned the bridge. So that's not the railroad bridge, but it's on the railroad bed. So now we drove up to 325th Street. And remember that bridge I showed you? That is not a railroad bridge, but is on the bed. This is the other side of that. And if I was to follow the tree line to the left, that tree line is the railroad bed going out this way. So I'm a little bit further up the road on 325th Street, and I'm coming from that direction. And you can see this tree line right here in front of me. If you look close, you can see the railroad bed in there. And now you can see my truck. And I'll bring you down there. There is remnants of the old trestle crossing. You know, like I said earlier, our area is full of hills. This is our bluff country. And the railroads had to wind around these hills. And you'll see a lot of these signs on some of the roads that we go down in our county, where actually there's a wash that goes across the road in places. And yeah, you don't want to drive through that wash when it's flooded. So this is our rail bed. And, you know, to the right a little bit, there's a couple of poles here in the ground. I don't know, that's almost something you'd see on a highway. I don't know what those are there for. They've been there years, but right back here, this is definitely the rail bed. Yep. And then I'll swing around to my rear so that you can see what I see on this side. Is it slow enough? Are you getting dizzy yet? There you go. That's our rail bed. Right there. Going out between those trees that way. Okay, this is what makes the hunt all worthwhile. Is that awesome history or what? Can you imagine this railroad here? The tracks going out that way? Ah, how many years were you born too late, you know? This is just great history. I love it. So just for reference, this is still Hay Creek. Yeah. Is that cool or what? Another angle here. Yeah. Abandoned railroads at its best. God, I'm loving this. So I'm on the other side. This is actually the direction we're going. This is where I get anxious, you know, and my wife says everybody gets dizzy. Okay, there it is. Is that cool? I like to line up with it so we can see exactly where it crossed. That is just crazy. That's good. I love it. I like to try and get all angles if I can, because it shows you the whole scope of everything then. Oh, we're missing the top over here on the end. Yep, that's great.
About 10 years ago, Tony was working nights, and I would roam around here with my camera taking photos, and I came upon this area and taking photos, and I took photos of that not knowing what that was. I just thought it was cool. I had no clue what it was. I couldn't connect the dots. I didn't know if it was a bridge, if it was a dam, remnants.
So all this time she had photos of this and I never knew it.
Yep.
Then a couple of years later, when I get really interested in this, we wind up going down this road, and I pulled in this, like a drive or something, and she says, I got pictures of this. Okay, this is cool stuff. Okay, see that old little school there? I've been back here. My wife showed me this school. Yeah. When Jesse James and his gang were up in this area, when they robbed the bank in Northfield, they were actually in Red Wing first. And there's stories here that they went to this farmer's house not far from here because they were hungry, and they were given a couple of hams. And then they brought the hams down to this schoolhouse, and they made a little camp behind the schoolhouse and ate their ham.
They ate it in the school.
Or ate it in the schoolhouse, I'm sorry.
They cooked it on the stove.
Yeah. Now, how do I know this?
Because we're history geeks.
Because my wife was the research librarian at the Goodhue County Historical Society years ago. So if I have a question, she'll know. I just wanted to add that in. It's cool history. Then, hey, did he rob trains or just banks? Oh, he must have robbed a train. You can see the direction it's coming from. That way would bring us back up to Hay Creek. And you can see the railroad bed right here. That's it. It's coming through the hills. It's making its way to Claybank. That's the next town it's going to go. Okay, that's the way it's going across the street, heading out towards Claybank. It's hard to see it, but it's there. And if you turn around, I see a couple more of these posts here. There's some more over there. I'm not sure what those posts are all about. But that's your railroad bed right there. And you can see it, it's dominant, it's raised up. It's going out this way. That's on the Hay Creek. Well, we're gonna walk along the creek, because there should be another trestle out this way, just a little bit. Oh, this looks like almost could be a timber that's used in a barn, or I don't know, railroad timber. I don't know why it would be right here though, unless it's floods back here and it got washed up.
Yeah, could be.
That's kind of cool, huh?
Look, there's another square-shaped log.
There it is. More cool history. Here's the thing, if you want to find something like this, listen to the fishermen. They'll tell you. That's awesome. Let's see if I can get a better view for you. So that's the rail bed. Remember when we were on the street? It's probably the last time we saw a rail bed. And I showed you where it was going through. You could hardly see it. This is it. This is the rail bed right here. I see some remnants here. Some more there. There you go. You can see where it hits the other side over there. And we're looking at one of these timbers across the top. If you remember just a few minutes ago, we found one of those down the river there.
Downstream.
Yeah, downstream. We're thinking maybe that came from here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what it looks like. Because down there on the end, there's missing one. Yep. Isn't this cool? This is cool. There's a stream making the bend. Hey, creek. Yeah. This is usually the part when my wife says, "Don't go over there. Don't do this. Don't do that." There's something there that fell in. Yeah. Well, I do kind of see another timber laying there alongside that one over there.
And I think there's one across the creek right up there.
Oh, yeah, wife just saw another one up here.
You can see the spikes sticking out.
There's one. Yeah. I see some mossy stuff on the ends, and looking at the side. I know it's got to be creosote, but it almost looks like a tar when you look at the top of it.
Sure does.
Yeah. I see some cables around this thing too. Yeah, they're wrapped around this. I'm standing on a piece of concrete. There's some more concrete down there. You can see where this is flooded, and you can see where all that debris has, been washed up on that side of the old trestles. Here's another little timber. Got to make sure I get enough. I'll never be back here again. It's just awesome history. I know I keep saying that, but I'm just in awe every time I go and find this stuff. Well, one more look before we head back. That was worth the walk, eh? I say so. So we walked down this path along the Hay Creek, ran into a couple fishermen. First one says, "No, I've never seen a trestle." The second one says, "Yeah, it's just around the next bend." So I had to put out the extra energy to go and see it. Sure was worth it though. I saw a sign, talks about, trout fishing and everything on here, so I'm thinking I'm on Minnesota state property when I walk along the stream, but if I'm not, I suppose I'll hear about it. Anyway, on our way back home now. Diane's taking pictures. Yep. Phone pictures. Anyway, I hope you liked this video. I know I liked it. The experience anyway. So we've got to get home and get something to eat. So I'm going to say goodbye. I'll see you on our next one. And God bless you all.